Let's begin then with what exactly you're looking to achieve in this part of the world as you look to the next year or two. What kind of growth are you targeting?
Well, the region's been very important for us in the last 5 years, in the previous plan. And in the new plan, we continue to see the Middle East being a growth area for us. In terms of the New Dimension strategic plan, we're focusing very much on infrastructure, energy, natural resources, and aviation, which for us in the region are very much in line with our client base. Another point is that we want to be able to develop more towards being an investment bank. We think that we have global expertise in these three key sectors, and that we think we can be relevant to our clients to broaden the advisory and investment banking products that we can sell to them.
Do you have a sort of a ranking of priorities in terms of countries? I mean, is it the United Arab Emirates? Is it going to be Saudi Arabia on the back of this reform process? A lot of your peers from some of the other banks have been on this set. Saudi Arabia is usually at the very top of that list.
Absolutely. I think that Saudi is a huge opportunity, not without risks. And for us, we need to grow our business in Saudi Arabia to be more in line with the share of the GDP of the region. It's roughly half of the GCC, so we'd like to see our share of revenues from Saudi growing more towards that sort of level.
It sounds to me like you are ready to add to your exposure in this part of the world, because there was a brief period about a year ago where maybe you weren't echoing this kind of sentiment as Natixis. There was more of a wait-and-see attitude. Now, definitely more exposure. And with that more exposure, what kind of expansion in terms of teams and in terms of staffing comes with it?
Well, I think first of all, the key to this region for me is to be consistent. We know that there's ups and downs in economics, in geopolitics. So I think you have to have a risk profile that can see you through that cycle, because consistency with your clients is very important. So I think more importantly than increasing exposure is being there for your clients. And I think, as is well documented, Natixis has an asset-light strategy. So our job is to be there for our clients, and then we can manage the risk behind that. But certainly, I think Saudi Arabia, if you look at the rating, it's still A-rated. I think there's, and that includes all the geopolitical as well as the economic risk. So yes, definitely, we see Saudi as the main growth area for us.
So with that, do additional hires come with that?
Well, we're studying at the moment about opening an office there. We don't have a presence on the ground, but our clients are telling us that, if we want to be part of the growth and the opportunities leading up to the 2030 vision, that we need to have a presence on the ground. So it's something we're studying, and we have to listen to what our clients say.
It's been exactly a year since the Gulf crisis began. What is the latest on Qatar? How are you treating that?
I mean, geopolitics is a fact of life here. So you have to, as I said earlier, you have to be consistent. It's not easy for banks because, you've got clients on both sides of the of this dispute, so we have to be consistent. I don't know when it's going to finish, but we have to continue being there for our clients.
And in terms of providing better coverage for some of your oil and gas and aircraft clients, that was one of your priorities. How is that coming along?
Well, globally, we've been setting up specific industry banker teams in our core sectors, as you said, energy, natural resources, aviation, and also very importantly for us, infrastructure. We're very active in the infrastructure market here, especially power, renewables, which we see as being a very important sector going forward, and will offer a lot of opportunities.
We just had the announcements of stimulus packages in Abu Dhabi and in Dubai. You are heavily involved in the United Arab Emirates. Your first reaction, perhaps, and also looking beyond perhaps the weakness coming through from real estate and from foreign investors in equity, for example. I mean, what's the bigger picture for you here in the UAE and the outlook for some of the projects you're involved in?
Well, I'm not an economist, so I'm not going to tell you where I think the economy is going. But, you know, our profile here is very much focused on governments, GREs, the large corporates. You know, we see a very strong future path to new projects, renewables. I mean, we see the Dewa Solar Park project, for instance, biggest in the world. You know, plenty more ambitious plans in terms of infrastructure. In terms of the airlines, Emirates, Etihad, I mean, that's still very important clients for us. So, you know, but going back to what I keep saying, you have to be consistent. If you don't like the risk, you know, or you're worried about can you go through the cycle, maybe you shouldn't be involved in that part of the economy.